Are you familiar with Rule 34? Yeah. What is it?
Rule 34 is that if it exists, there's porn of it on the internet.
Yes, if it exists, there's porn of that thing on the internet somewhere. Rule 35 is if it exists at some point that was someone's bar mitzvah theme. Which means at some point in time, there was a boy who had a P. Diddy white party bar mitzvah. And I'm sure he like modeled it after the white parties. There was like probably P. Diddy music playing. Everyone's wearing white. A lot of 13-year-olds everywhere.
I was in Montreal, which I really loved. If you've never been to Montreal, there's so many French and English speakers in Montreal that even if you go to like a Starbucks, the barista preemptively will be like, bonjour, hi. And I took 8 years of French in school, so every time I'd be like, bonjour. And they'd be like, comment j'étais pour vous aider? And I was like, well, the jig is up. I was hoping to talk about numbers pretty exclusively, but I will have un frappuccino. My parents got divorced when I was 7 days old. So like most kids, my first word was mama, but my next 5 word told me to tell you. My mom's been divorced twice, my dad's been divorced 3 times, and I have 4 younger half-siblings, so 2 total. And I'm 36 now, and a lot of people think that certainly by 36, you should stop blaming all your problems on your parents. Well, riddle me this. If you were in a building with a fucked up foundation, would you feel safer on the 36th floor? Yeah. I don't think so. Any theater kids here? You?
She was in an Adam Sandler movie.
You were in an Adam Sandler movie? What movie?
The week of like 6 years ago. Like the same kind of thing of like, yes, ag, but not
Listen,
me.
I am using credits from 20 years ago. Don't be shy at all. Was it a big part? Did you have a scene with Adam?
Oh yeah, I was his daughter, but I was just kind of like there. Like,
Do you remember any of your lines?
yeah.
What was one of your lines?
Daddy.
Wow. You didn't say it like that, did you? Because that sounded like you were playing Adam Sandler's mistress. Daddy? Cast this good. I've been having a great time in Australia. Can I be honest? I thought there would be a lot more animals. I asked, locals. I said, where are all the animals? And they said, oh, you should visit the zoo. And I said, I don't care about seeing a kangaroo in a cage. I wanted to hit one with my car. And I know that's a dumb American assumption that I just come here and like koalas would be hugging me and falling out of the trees. It would be like if you thought that you'd go to America and you'd immediately be shot. No, you got to go to a school. I hope you have good Valentine's Day, even if they're on Zoom or something. That's amazing. A Zoom. I mean Zoom. I went on a Zoom date with my girlfriend once during the pandemic, and I remember like we hadn't seen each other for a bit, so we tried to make it like romantic. I before the Zoom date, I Postmated her flowers, and then I Grubhubbed her dinner, and then I FedExed a little bit of cum for her back. I have kind of an unusually large Orthodox Jewish fan base, and it's Orthodox.
All of us.
Yeah. Okay. This is like the whole spectrum of Jews right here. You were like Orthodox, kinda. No. We have one more chair. There'll be a right there.
Half Jewish, half Hispanic.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yes.
Is there like how with Italian Jewish is matzo pizza, pizza bagel? What do they call Hispanic Jews?
Latinos?
The Jews are like, we call them not Jewish. My father dated a lot when I was a kid. And he was considerate. Like, he never brought a woman into my life until he was sure that she had stopped being my homeroom teacher. Once he slept with my 8th grade drama teacher.
And I was so pissed off because those grades don't matter. So in high school, he made it up to me by sleeping with my calculus teacher, Mr. Breyer. Calculus was not as hard as my dad.
I am here from New York City. New York City, where we have a lot of rats, or as you call them here, kawakas. I didn't know when rats got big enough they became a tourist attraction. They were like, oh, you gotta go to the kawakas. They come up and they touch you. Yeah, they do that in New York too. People think that kawakas are nice because they have a smile that's just, they're not happy, that's just automatically on their face. Their whole family could have died, they'd still be smiling. It's not fair to them. It'd be like if you suffered from depression, but the only way you knew how to make money was doing stand-up comedy.
Who had divorced parents? Yeah? How old were you when your parents got divorced?
Well, it was 2019. I don't remember my age, to be honest.
You really took that divorce hard. You're like, I can't handle any more subtraction in my life.
Stand-up comedy used to be very sexist. Back in the 70s, stand-up comedians would come up on stage and they just go like, women be shopping. That was it. They'd be like, women be shopping. And the crowd went nuts. Applause breaks, sitcom deals, they tour the country for the rest of their life. And thank God, we as a society, we grew past that. But now that I've had a girlfriend for about 2 years, sometimes we'll be out andLl be like, they really do be. She really do be shopping. And she be doing other things too. She be voting and driving. But in between those things, women be shopping.
I feel like we don't talk enough about just how photogenic Jeffrey Epstein was. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly. It's not just me. It's not just me. I bet you even before he got in trouble, people were like, you do not want to be in a picture with Epstein. He serves every time. And not just the 15-year-old variety. You would have to be so arrogant to think you wouldn't look like shit in a picture with Epstein, which explains why there's so many pictures of him and Donald Trump. See, there was another Epstein list that came out today.
Oh my god.
And I don't know. I like it when the Epstein lists are leaked. It's nice to see some bipartisanship. I guess this one was like back when they kept paper records of everyone who like left a voicemail for everyone who had called and left a voicemail for Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't know. People assume that if you did that, you must have been involved in the child trafficking, because that's what he did. But I don't know if that's necessarily true. My dad, he's left me a lot of voicemails, and he's never seen my stand-up comedy.
Junior year of high school, I got cast as the lead in Little Shop of Horrors, the musical. Yeah, as a junior. And And I remember I walked out on opening night and I almost broke character because there in the third row were my divorced parents sitting next to each other. There was my father, his eyes red with tears, and my mom with this big bouquet of daffodils because she remembered my dad is allergic.
I went to the 6th floor book repository today, which is, I guess this is the place where Lee Harvey Oswald stationed himself when he killed JFK. When you walk in, there's a sign that says, no firearms. I was like, it's a little late for that. They had a very cool exhibit there about this comedian named Vaughn Meader, who you might not know about, but he was very famous in the 60s for his John F. Kennedy impression. And I mean, he sold out theaters, he had multiple albums,
And then JFK got killed. Von Meter lost all his gigs, and he ended up shooting himself in the head. He stayed in character to the very end.
I know I'm a bad actor. Recently, I got one of those spam phone calls. You ever get those spam, like they'll be like, your health insurance is about to expire. And sometimes I fall for it. Like for a second, I'm like, I actually think I have health insurance. But there's one, I don't have a joke for this, but there was someone who called, and it was one of those where they were like, it's your grandson, Mark. And I'm like, the people who fall for this, how fucking vile are these people? So I was like, I'll fuck with them, and I was like, Mark, is that you? And he said, I can tell you're not old. Click, and he hung up the phone. I went to college for musical theater. How tall are you?
6 foot and also 3 inches.
Me, 6'3.5".
Wow.
Okay. 6'4".
6'4". I feel like people like lanky, like in high school or middle school. As I got older,
word. It's not a great.
I like the word lanky.
No, I don't think it's bad. You can own it.
Reclaim it
Doesn't
even.
sound
It's
great.
like the word like ugly. No, I love it.
I love it.
Like thin or svelte.
Yeah.
Svelte.
These
Svelte
are
is
these are
nice.
pop.
Svelte is
But
classic.
if a high schooler said svelte, you'd be like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. I think it becomes a type when people get older and they're more confident, and that just like I do like a big goofy idiot.
Downside. I saw that Amazon is rebooting the game show Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And they're going to have it hosted by the football player Travis Kelce, which I think that's exciting. We get to see the effects of CTE in real time. In a couple seasons, they can call it He Was Smarter Than a Fifth Grader. Or every season they can go lower, like, Are You Smarter Than a Fourth Grader? Are You Smarter Than a Third Grader? And they just can keep going until Taylor Swift fans can play too.
I should say, happy Pride. Beautiful thing. I hate when conservatives will be like, they're like, look, we don't have a problem with gay people, but you gotta shove it down our throats. You gotta talk about pride all the time. Oh, well now you know what it's like to not like sports every other month of the year. Shut the up. Oh, I'm sorry we have to talk about a different group of men in tight clothing for 30 days. I celebrate Pride hard, because it's the closest this country is ever going to get to a month celebrating musical theater.